James Baldwin's Go Tell It on the Mountain is replete with symbolism. The novel echoes with biblical allusions and religious symbols. The names of the characters, the title of the chapters, the title of the novel, and the plot is heavily steeped in biblical references. The very title of the book has symbolic implications. The title is a reference to the gospel song Go Tell It on the Mountain, which refers to the call given to the people about the birth of Christ. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills, and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. The song's message is that the Christian message that Jesus Christ is born should be spread everywhere, shouted from the mountain tops. This novel can be interpreted as Baldwin's way of telling his own experience of Christianity, with all its difficulties, bumps, and bruises, as well as his own coming of age. Throughout the novel, characters are portrayed as climbing a mountain to holiness. It's a tough climb, but the rewards at the top are more than just a great view. Go Tell It can also be compared to Moses declaring the freedom of Jews from the top of Mount Sinai. It's a new beginning for the oppressed. This is a coming of age novel, and the protagonist John Grimes achieves salvation and is reborn as a messenger of God. It is a proclamation of his success that Go Tell It on the Mountain refers to. Jesus is born not to live peacefully, but to undergo suffering on the cross in order to save his people. At the end of the novel, we see that John has a conversion or a moment in which he experiences God's presence. These believers, they have a form of prostration in which an individual falls to the floor while experiencing religious ecstasy. Believers attribute this behavior to the power of the Holy Spirit. This act is called slain in the Spirit. This is a clear sign that John is saved and blessed. But John has to experience hardships before fulfilling his mission. Initially, John is not sure whether he can handle his success, but he gains confidence after hearing the words of brother Elisha, spoken just before he takes leave of John. So Elisha is somebody whom John admires. He too is functioning in with the church, and he's kind of this brother or a friend to John. So at the end of this conversion experience, John asks Elisha if he's worthy of this blessing of God. So Elisha comforts him and tells him that, run on, little brother, don't you get weary. God won't forget you. You won't forget. These lines echo prophet Isaiah's words of assurance to the captives. What does Isaiah say? Isaiah was also a prophet. Isaiah tells, they that wait shall walk and not faint. Elisha is the prophet encouraging John to work with full faith in God. Now, there's another reference to the curse of Ham and slavery. What is it about? Noah, that same Noah. Noah was the 10th and the last of the pre-flood patriarchs. His story is contained in the Hebrew Bible in the book of Genesis. The Genesis flood narrative in which he builds this ark is among the best known stories of Bible. Noah is also portrayed as a tiller of the soil, so he's a farmer, and a drinker of wine. The flood narrative is followed by the story of the curse of Ham. Now, what is this curse? In the Bible, Ham finds Noah. Who is Ham? Ham is Noah's son. So he has 3 sons, and one of them is Ham. So Ham finds Noah drunk and naked in Noah's tent. So instead of covering him up himself, he tells his brothers Shem and Japheth, who then proceed to cover their father without gazing at him. When Noah finds out what happened, he curses Ham's son, Canaan, saying, he shall be a servant of servants. By the 19th century, many historians agree that this belief that African Americans came to be associated with the descendants of Ham, and it became a primary justification for slavery among Southern Christians. This inferiority was drilled into the consciousness of the blacks through the medium of religion to keep them subjugated. Now, John's stepfather Gabriel is the head deacon of the Temple of the Fire Baptized. The religion of the Temple of the Fire Baptized is a fiery version of Protestantism, whose guiding doctrines privilege the Old Testament and its notion of a vengeful God. പാപം ചെയ്താൽ ശക്തമായിട്ടുള്ള അതിനുള്ള പണിഷ്മെന്റ് കിട്ടുന്ന അങ്ങനെ ഒരു വെഞ്ച്ഫുൾ ഗോഡായിട്ടാണ്, അപ്പോൾ വളരെ സ്ട്രിക്റ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള കുറേ റൂൾസ് ഫോളോ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട് ഇവർ. Part of the reason for this has to do with the enduring identification many American blacks felt with enslaved Hebrews of the Torah. അപ്പോൾ ഈ ഹാമിൻ്റെ വംശജരാണ് ഈ ആഫ്രിക്കൻ അമേരിക്കൻസ് എന്നുള്ളൊരു ഒരു ധാരണ ഇവരുടെയൊക്കെ ഉള്ളിലുണ്ട്. അപ്പം അതുകൊണ്ട് ഈ സ്ലേവറിക്ക് വേണ്ടി വിധിക്കപ്പെട്ടവരാണ് എന്നുള്ളൊരു വിചാരമുണ്ട്. അപ്പം അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ ഇവിടുന്ന് രക്ഷപ്പെടണം എന്നുള്ള ആ ഒരു അതിയായിട്ടുള്ള ആഗ്രഹം ഇവരുടെ മനസ്സിലാരുടെ ഉള്ളിലുണ്ട്. സോ ദേ ഓൾസോ ഹാവ് ദിസ് ഇൻഫീരിയോറിറ്റി ഫീലിംഗ് as well, since this is connected with religion. Now all these people, they believe in this prophet, or they believe that they are going to be liberated from this misery of bondage to the promised land, just like it happened with the Jews. As a result, the language and allegory of Old Testament is present in the thoughts of the characters, and the biblical parallels in the novel's action often point to this. The spirituals or religious songs of the black Christians is influenced by the American Christian tradition and the African culture. There's another reference to the book of Revelation, വെളിപാടിന്റെ പുസ്തകം. John Grimes is linked by language and action to the Bible's John of Patmos. Now, who is John of Patmos? John of Patmos is believed to be the writer of the book of Revelation, again a part of Bible. He is also believed to be the same person known as Apostle John the Apostle, or John the Evangelist, who was one of the 12 apostles of Jesus. The text of Revelation states that John was on Patmos, a Greek island, where he is supposed to have been exiled by the Roman Emperor Domitian. Now, the novel also references the story of a birthright and a wrestling match. John Grimes is very fond of brother Elisha. They regularly engage in wrestling matches. Elisha is stronger than John and overcomes him all the time. But on the day of his 14th birthday, John wrestles Elisha in the church and is able to hold his ground. This is a sign that John has matured and is ready to be saved. This wrestling match also compares him with Jacob, who wrestled with an angel or God himself. Who was Jacob? We'll see that.